Good evening everyone. We're looking here at this video on arc length calculation. Thank you for joining me for this video. This topic over here is easy to understand, but it's difficult to calculate simply because when you're doing arc length calculations, whatever curve it is that you're given and you have to find the arc length from whichever lower to upper limit interval, the integrand can become quite difficult, and the calculation in itself in terms of the definite integration procedure becomes very hard. But at a very minimum, it's important to understand this topic with simple examples. With what we've done so far in terms of the variety of integrals, we have to keep this subject simple for now. You've seen something like this before when I talked about the derivation of the circle circumference. But let's look at it in terms of calculations here. We'll look at two examples in this video. When we're talking about arc lengths, you can be talking about literally any type of curve. And if you have an interval a to b, and this again, remember, is a big part of integral calculus. You mark where this interval affects the curve, and you're looking at this portion right over here from A to B. The arc length is basically you're calculating the length of this arc. You're looking at nothing in with regards to area below a curve or area between curve. You're basically looking at arc length and the length, the measurement of this. And it's important when you're doing these type of questions to always have some means at the end to test or check your answer, to see if you are on the right track, and we will do that with each of the questions we do. When we're talking about arc length, there are two ways you can look at this, or two different types of questions. One, if an equation is presented in the y equals format, which you know is your f of x equals equation, then your equation basically is this: arc length is equal to an interval lower limit to upper limit. You know you're looking here at an interval along the x-axis. You have this formula which comes into play, 1 plus the derivative of that function squared in this format. It's important to understand that for this, the condition must be for a given function. Let's just say for a given function, the antiderivative, if graphed, should be continuous over the interval a comma b for this equation to hold true. So this right here is your all important equation you must know. For these instances where you have an equation y equals, if an equation is x equals format, everything is pretty much the same, except your interval here will be on a vertical axis, c to d, lower limit, upper limit, and you'll be looking at this 1 plus, again, the derivative square dy actually here. But we have to be clear about one thing. When you're looking at this right over here, this part, you're looking at dy over dx square. When you're looking at this part right here, for those equations x equals format, you're looking at dx over dy square. So you can see the difference, how the derivative is calculated. Here the derivative is respect to y, here the derivative is respect to x. So you have to keep these in mind. But if you know how to do just this type of equations, your functions, and you're doing arc lengths of that should suffice. The two examples we'll look at will be of this form today. This topic here would not be fun until we looked at an arc length calculation involving a unit circle. Here you can see clearly the radius is 1. We know our equation for this unit circle will be x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, or just 1. We have to determine the arc length for this circle from an interval 0 to 1, so you're looking at just this area right over here, that. So you can even regraph it out and you're looking at just that arc length from 0 to 1. You know very easily, if you were to do geometry calculation here, circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Here the circumference of this entire circle is equal to 2 pi, but we're looking here at a quarter of a circle. You could just divide this by 4, and we know now that the arc length over here should be equal to pi over 2. You could also have used the arc length formula, s is equal to r theta, in which case you have a pi over 2 times a radius of 1, which is equal to pi over 2. So you know at the end we should have an answer equivalent to pi over 2 using the formula we've just learned. So this is the answer we're aiming for, pi over 2, for this length right over here. So the first thing you need to do is remember, in this term we're looking at an equation which looks something like this, from lower limit 0 up to 1, 0 up to 1. We're looking here everything along the x-axis dimension, therefore we're looking at something with regards to dx. Our equation is 1 plus the derivative squared, but we have to calculate this derivative, and this right here is our equation. You have to do implicit differentiation. You know here we're looking at something dy over dx squared, as I hinted to earlier. That dy over dx must come right into place of this. So you're looking at the implicit differentiation of this equation, which is not hard. You have 2x plus 2y dy over dx is equal to 0. Derivative of 1 is 0. you solve for dy dx. dy over dx is equal to minus 2x over 2y, which is equal to minus x over y. But you have here two different variables. You can substitute for y, because if you take this equation, you solve for y, you know you've seen this before, y is equal to 1 minus x squared root. You've taken this equation, you solved for y, and you can plug this right in here. So you're essentially getting minus x over root 1 minus x squared. This right here represents our derivative, which will plug in right over here. So now everything makes sense and it becomes clear. Now our arc length formula becomes this. Everything is from 0 to 1. We have 1 plus, here you know what we had minus x over root 1 minus x squared. All of this must be in the square because the formula is a derivative square with respect to dx. You have to just simplify all of this. You have 1 plus x squared over 1 minus x squared. When you do a common denominator here, you get 1 minus x squared plus x squared. You'll get root of 1 over 1 minus x squared, which is no different than you saying 1 over root 1 minus x squared, and this is no different than you looking at a trigonometric substitution of the form a squared minus x squared. And you know a squared minus x squared brings a certain set of substitutions. Here a is equal to 1, x is equal to sine theta, dx is equal to cosine theta, d theta, and then theta 1 and theta 2, everything with regards to this equation right here. 0 is equal to sine theta, theta is equal to arc sine of 0, which is 0. 1 is equal to sine theta, theta is equal to arc sine of 1, which is pi over 2. So suddenly everything takes form from 0, pi over 2. We have dx, which is cosine theta d theta over 1 minus sine square theta, and this is not hard by any means. By means of the trigonometric identity, this right here is equal to cosine square theta. The root of that is cosine theta. Cosine theta divided by cosine theta, everything all over here cancels out. You essentially just have pi over 2, 0 d theta. When you do the definite integration here, you have theta from upper limit pi over 2 to 0, upper limit, lower limit, and the difference of the two, and you'll just get pi over 2, and that represents the arc length from here to here, which was originally verified using geometry, and we were trying to aim for this answer right here, pi over 2 and pi over 2, and our answer is good. But this right here is but an easy example, because the integrand over here, what is our integrand in all of this question? Our integrand is this right over here. All of this procedure right here coming down into this. This right here is our integrand, but our integrand is easy, so the whole question was easy. Generally, this integrand over here is pretty difficult, and we don't know those techniques or the procedures yet to handle those difficult type of integrations. Therefore, we cannot do anything more difficult than these type of questions. Even seemingly an easy question like y is equal to x squared, quadratic one, if you were to determine arc length, that in itself will lead to a difficult integrand, and we could not handle it just yet. We'll look at one more example, and that'll be it for this video. We have a question over here, y equals x to the power of 3 over 2, and I'm showing you only part of the graph from an interval 0 to 1. We have to find this arc length of this curve from the interval 0 to 1, and this arc length is right over here. This is what we're looking at, this part right over here. We're not talking anything here about areas below curves or between curves. We're talking specifically at arc lengths, and these are integral calculus procedures. You're looking here everything along an x-axis, and you know our equation should be again something like this, 0 to 1. You're looking at 1 plus the derivative squared with respect to dx. So we're keeping it of these forms, which are not hard. At the end, when you determine your arc length, you should be able to test it out. How do you test it out? You use the basic distance formula from 0, 0 to 1, 1. If you were to draw a line across over here, that would represent the line segment. And then the arc length is always a little longer than that segment because there's a little bit of a convexity in here. So the arc length should always be close to this segment distance, but should be larger than that segment distance of that line. Let's do the segment distance. We're looking at 0, 0 because this is our check or our test for the end. We're using the distance formula, y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. So you have 1 square plus 1 square. You're having a root 2. You can bring a calculator value over here because it's good to have a calculator value. We're looking at a 1.414. When we calculate our arc length at the end, it should be slightly larger than 1.414, but it should be close to it. Again, remember, if supposedly you have a curve like this and you're determining the arc length from right here to here, you can always calculate the segment of a straight line, the distance of this segment. the distance of this segment, let's say distance of the segment must always be less than the distance of your arc length. Here's my arc length. Why is the arc length longer? Because it's convex line. Why is the segment distance smaller? Because it's a straight line. This goes to a longer distance, that goes to a smaller distance. This must always be larger than that. But if you can calculate this using the distance formula and this value is close to that, then you know you're good. Alright, so what do we need to calculate here? The arc length, but what do we need to know first? This, the derivative. Our equation is y is equal to x to the 3 over 2. Then we have to do the derivative of this, right? dy over dx is equal to the derivative of this. You know the power rule, 3 over 2 and x to the 1 over 2. This right here is going to feed in over here by means of a square. What do we get? We have 0 to 1. We have 1 plus this square. 3 over 2 root x square dx. And this is not hard. 0, 1. 1 plus 9 over 4x dx. Root x square is just an x, 3 over 2 square is a 9 over 4. And you have this here as your integrand. Now look, the integrand is not too difficult. It would seemingly look difficult, but it isn't. It isn't because you can use polynomial substitution, but normally these integrands here become difficult even for the easier type of functions, and then you end up being unable to do that because you don't know those techniques yet. So let's use polynomial substitution. U is equal to 1 plus 9x over 4. Du is equal to 9 over 4 dx. And dx is equal to 4 over 9 du. u1 and u2 must be calculated. u1, you're plugging 0 in places of this equation right here. You're plugging in your lower and upper limit. 1 plus 0 is just a 1. And then you're putting 1 over here. 1 plus 9 over 4 is a 13 over 4. So that becomes my new lower limit and new upper limit. You have 1 and up to 13 over 4. You have all of this u. You have a du. But du is attached to a 4 over 9. You can bring the 4 over 9 outside as a coefficient. And that's what we have. And this root u can be rewritten as u to the power of 1 over 2. It looks better that way. U to the power of 1 over 2. You know integration of that is easy. It's polynomial integration. You have 4 over 9. Then you have u to the 3 over 2 over 3 over 2. Upper limit 13 over 4. Lower limit 1. You have 4 over 9 times this thing flips 2 over 3. Then you have u to the 3 over 2, upper limit 13 over 4 and lower limit 1. What we can do over here is bring a calculator answer. You have 8 over 27 and then you have all of this. U to the 3 over 2 and then you have 13 over 4 and 1. We'll post a calculator answer which should be close to this 1.414 and let's publish that value. When I do all of this I get 1.4397 and that should be the arc length for this interval 0 to 1, but for the curve from that interval, and you can see the arc length, it should be close to this but larger. You see you have 1.414, this is 1.4397. Of course this is larger than that, but it's a good indication that you're close to it but you're larger than it, and that's what you want. And again, the definite integration procedure was you putting 13 over 4 to the power of 1.5 and 1 to the power of 1.5 and the difference of those two, and you multiplied by 8 over 27 and that was it. So this right here is your basic arc length calculation, and it has been purposely kept easy because these integrands have to be easy for now because we don't know the techniques for when these integrands become hard. For all of these arc length calculations, your limiting factor or your constraint is this right here. The integrand can become quite difficult and you can get stuck literally over there trying to proceed onwards, though you know you want to be able to do it but you cannot. The minute these integrands become difficult, the whole question stops. But as you get more advanced in your techniques, then those issues will resolve. But remember again, the formula is very easy. This is very easily known to be a to b. You're looking at a derivative squared with respect to dx, and this is the more common one than the other one, which is respect to dy. Here the derivative over here must be dy over dx. You can flip everything around, dx over dy, but then your equation will become with respect to dy, and you'll have intervals here on a vertical axis. Here the intervals are on a horizontal axis. You have a dy over dx derivative and with respect to dx. That's your all important formula that you have to remember for arc length calculations, and it's not too hard so long as the integrand is not too hard. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.